is my educational profile project. So the purpose of this project is to enhance the audience's knowledge on the career of special education teaching. This is meant to show the audience the duties that come along with being a special education teacher, the qualifications needed to become a special education teacher, the benefits and disadvantages of this career, and the salaries and opportunities that come along with this job. So my role is special education. So a job description is assess student needs, create personalized learning plans, provide tailored instruction, and collaborate with parents, caregivers, and other professionals to advocate for inclusive practices within the school's community. So some of the duties, these aren't all of them, but here's a couple. They are performs a variety of assessment and observations to determine the areas in which the student may need extra or modified educational services. Assessment areas may include academic performance, behavior, social development, or physical health. Another one is identifies the student's needs and develops related lesson plans and teaching plans. Another one is develops individualized education programs called IEPs for each student, setting learning goals and adopting modifications as necessary. The next one is implements IEPs, provides ongoing or follow-up assessments, and continually tracks progress and makes modifications as necessary. And the last one I have is maintains knowledge of special education teaching methods, research, and best practices through professional development. And overall, all these duties mainly mean keeping track of your students because every student comes in with different disabilities. So it's important to assess them to make sure they're in the right program and keep up on their data to make sure they're making the progress they need to make. Next is qualifications and credentials. So the degree you need is a bachelor's degree in special education or a field of K through 12 education, and then special education teacher P11. And then some certifications and endorsements are students with cognitive impairment, emotional impairment, learning disabilities, speech and language impairment, autism spectrum disorder, and students who are deaf and hard of hearing. And the experience required for this job is to earn that special education degree and also obtain the state certification, which is the big test. So here's some salaries I found. This is mainly for Michigan, so it changes wherever you are and how long you've been teaching, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. But the median salary is about 61,000. And then for this, I broke it down into charts. So I'm just going to go over the annual salary because from there you can kind of break it down into the monthly pay, weekly, and hourly wage. So the top earners make about 62,319 annually. The 75th percentile makes about 55,300 annually. The average makes around 47,728 annually, and the 25th percentile makes about 35,300 annually. And again, this changes with how long you've been working, where you're working, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into this pay. So, a prevalence of opportunities, how competitive is this market for this role? So, the special education markets fluctuate based on location, demand, and candidate qualifications. In high demand areas or where teacher shortages exist, competition can be intense, while incentives such as loan of forgiveness are used to attract this talent. Another prevalence of opportunity, what is the need for this job? So special education teachers are vital for meeting diverse learning needs. They provide tailored support for students with disabilities and learning differences, ensuring access to the curriculum. With increasing inclusivity and legal mandates like IDEA, demand for these expertise does remain high. And the last prevalence of opportunities, where is the need the greatest for this? So special education teachers are most needed in densely populated urban areas, regions with teacher shortages and underserved communities. Rural and remote areas also lack these educators, especially in specialized fields like autism spectrum disorders. Efforts to address these shortages include targeted recruitment and incentives for teachers in high need areas. So, some benefits and drawbacks I found of this are benefits are doing so qualifies you for other education jobs. So, having the special education, you do have more of an opportunity to work in different fields of education. Another one is there is a great availability, and this has to do with the teacher shortages. We need these teachers, so there's always usually a job for you. Another benefit is you're making a difference in students' lives. These students are looking for someone to be there for them and understand them and support them, and you're that person that's going to do this for them, which can be very rewarding. Another one is often higher salaries and benefits packages. This has to do with the need for them. And also, you're doing a little bit of a more intense job because you're having to focus so deeply on each of these individuals. So you are kind of rewarded for this. And then lastly, you're serving a large community of these students. And also, you're serving their parents and you're preparing them for the future so they have a life ahead of them outside of school. So, some drawbacks that come with this job is there can be a lack of parental understanding. This has to do with some parents can be closed minded to their student. They don't understand that their student needs certain help or certain incentives, and it's important that you help open up these parents' eyes so their student can progress the greatest amount. Another drawback is special education doesn't get the appreciation it deserves. Most people don't understand how much work these teachers are putting in and what they're really doing. And that can affect you sometimes because you're not getting appreciation for what you do. It's important to keep in your mind that you are making a difference. Another drawback is you do need more training than your general education colleagues, and this simply has to do with because you're working with students on the spectrum or that have disorders, and you need to be able to be qualified to help these students. Another drawback is you do have to have constant communication with everyone. This is coworkers, parents, doctors, and even faculty. Like, this is important to help develop your student and keep everyone in line so it stays progressive. The last drawback is it can be emotionally and physically exhausting, just like any job. It's important to take time for yourself and focus on yourself and not forget about that and not put all of your time into this, forgetting about you. So my testimonial. So for my testimonial, I interviewed my mom. Her name is Jennifer DeRuyter. Jennifer got her special education degree at Central Michigan University and her master's degree at Saginaw Valley University. So this is what she said when I interviewed her. She said, "Each day walking in my class and seeing all of my students brings such joy to my life. Throughout the day, they make me smile, laugh, and at sometimes their actions make me feel like I might go a little crazy. The biggest challenge with teaching special education is the length of time it can take to see your students make progress. I've been a special education teacher for the last 24 years. I spent 17 years as an elementary resource room teacher, 1 year as a middle school resource room teacher, 1 year as a high school resource room teacher, in the last 5 years as a mild cognitive classroom teacher." And the reason I chose my mom is simply because she kind of has been all over in special education, which gives her a bigger idea of it, which I think her ideas can be very insightful for someone who's kind of learning about this because she does have that experience. And then my thoughts and reflections. So, what did you find most interesting about this role? So, personally, I grew up with a mom who worked in special education, so I did have some previous knowledge. But what I find most intriguing about this role is their capacity to customize the instruction and support for diverse needs, fostering academic and social growth. Their collaborative approach involving parents and other professionals underscores the significance of promoting inclusive practices and advocating for students with disabilities within the school system. And then, how can you, knowing about this role, be beneficial to other educators? Knowing about this role, the role of special education teachers, helps other educators learn effective strategies for supporting diverse learners and fostering inclusive classroom, improving the overall learning experience for all students. No matter what kind of teacher you are going to have students that struggle. You are going to have students that may be undiagnosed, And having these teachers as someone to go to is so beneficial for you because they have been trained in this and they can give you the most effective strategies to help your classroom overall. And that was my educational profile project. I hope you got to learn a little more about special education and got to dive into it. Thank you.